All right, so the table height is really variable, and I think I've even said that I actually, throughout the year, change the table height a little bit. Sometimes I go down more. Recently I went up, and I noticed, I mean, again, the table height should be for me, but I've noticed that some of my older clients struggle to get on the table because I've got it really high, and so a couple of them are like jumping to get up there. So, you know, hey, actually one of my clients has a little step stool that she keeps in the room now, so when I come she gets that. So she uses a step stool to get on the table. It's that, because she's really short and I'm tall. But so find the right height and be willing to change. And I think that to err on the side of lower is better, because I can always deepen my stance and be upright. But if the table's too high, then this is what happens, is I end up operating with my scapula floating, which is really bad for your joints. It's really dangerous. We want to mainly be compressing where our scapula are depressed. They don't have to be actively depressed so much, but you want to have them defaulting down there rather than floating up, to protect your joints. So this first thing here, palm pressing the sacrum, I take a straddle stance, and I'm making use of my length. Some of you are going to find that you're going to be challenged to clear the head, and that's okay. Just find a way. Sometimes maybe you have to get over to the side a bit. We're just starting here, and I'm compressing probably 50% into the table and about 50% down towards her feet. And it feels and is simple, but you'll be surprised how many people love just this. Mm-hmm. I mean, just this week I had a person say, you could spend an hour doing that, which I wouldn't.
How's it feel, Jessica?
Like,
Feels good?
She's like, yeah, it's all right. She's young and not compressed yet. And then the palm pressing the back is basically starting there. And actually, I would include work around the iliac crest like this. So almost like the heels of my hands are into the QL a bit. So you could even come way lateral like that. But then along the spine, almost like a cat would, just slowly walking the hands back. Taking your time. And the pace is really critical. One of the signature feel to Thai massage is this very slow, very deliberate. The pressure okay? Mm-hmm. Be sure to let me know. I'm actually really pressing on her, so I'm not pretending.
Mm-hmm. I'm just doing it to all you guys.
And it's tight up here. So then I'm walking up the spine and then out laterally along the upper traps. And this is, in a way, a very good assessment as well as a treatment. I'm feeling for how much tension, I'm feeling the difference between tone, and then I'm noticing that up here. And part of what I'm thinking is, if I had to pick a side, which I'm about to, what side would I choose, right? And that might be she's right hand dominant, or I feel like one side's tighter than the other, or she said to me in the intake, she told me and she touched it and said it, and so I'm taking note of that, of course, right? Okay. Then I'm gonna come, this is unilateral palm compression. We're gonna start here at the superior angle of the scapula, and it's two hands, one over the other, and I'm compressing down and out away from the spine. Just have it be just a continuous compression. To be fair, sometimes I'll do this and then I'll rock a little bit, so that's okay. I don't know if I want to do that all the time or for every position, but sometimes it just feels like inputting a little chaos helps.
Is your bottom of your palm on the rectus?
Yeah, so
Okay.
her spinous processes are right
Okay.
here, clear. I'm not pressing right. I'm pressing directly over the transverse processes, right? So her spinal column is being rotated. I'm right over the paraspinals. So I can actually feel the spinous process where my index finger is right there. So I'm right up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And take that all the way onto the sacrum. And you probably notice I keep shifting my own stance along because I want the work to be happening basically out here in front of my sternum. I wouldn't want to stay back here and work out there. That's a photo of don't do that, right? Now notice I keep moving so that all I have to do is shift my weight forward, and that's the force. I'm not actually pressing. It's almost like I'm doing a plank and she's happens to be under my plank. That's where the force is coming from. This is me pressing, is with my arm strength. This is me just leaning.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and if she were, see how this is like a true plank, right? I'm putting my weight on her, like that's where the force is coming from. Thanks, Jessica. Okay, so then hip pull. So I've worked my way down. So now with my inferior hand, the hand towards her feet, I'm gonna reach under and take a hold of her as is with kind of flat fingertips. Some people are ticklish there. That's okay. Maybe a firmer touch is better when they're ticklish. And then with my other hand, so I want to clear her pelvis. So I'm holding her pelvis up. I'm going to push and pull. So I'm like wringing out the spine. So I'm pushing down with my left hand and pulling up with the right. This hand is going to stay here. The left hand is going to move up, and they're going to counter each other. Pushing and pulling. So you can use your strength to a point, but what I want you to take note of is, especially with a heavier body, someone who outweighs you, is watch my stance here. I want to dip down. I want to create a fulcrum where my body weight dipping lower is actually creating the work. Otherwise, you might find yourself doing this, right? You really want to avoid that. So I want to point those things out, but so dipping down. The more weight I put down here, the easier it is to pull her, right? And then I'm just having to counter that.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Good.
People really like that. It feels very good. Okay, so you can see I've chosen a side, right? So now I'm going to go to her arm, but I actually think we should pause here. Let me go back and just do it again, and then we'll all try it. Also, I want to encourage you to get used to not relying on your eyes. If you're relying on palpation with your eyeballs, you're going to affect your posture. Your head can end up like this. So it's fine to use your eyes to orient, but you don't need to so much, right? So try and be aware of once in a while, just kind of let your gaze be out broader so that your head is in a better position. So I got out to here. Palm compressing just along one side. Keep shifting your stance as you go. Reach under, push and pull. And the hand on top travels, the other hand stays. Depending on the length of their body, just a couple times, 2 or 3 times, and then back. All right, let's try it.